Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Time, where we talk about the movies we like.
And the ones we don't.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Molly.
Today, we're going to be getting into some of George Romero's dead movies.
Yes, because they are about dead people.
Yeah. George Romero started his Of the Dead series with 1968's Night of the Living Dead.
Yes, this one is considered a classic nowadays.
Yes, it is. Now, it was not the first zombie movie. That honor would go to 1932's White Zombie, starring Bela Lugosi. But this was the first in what we would call the modern zombie movie. It has all the trappings of zombie movies you would see today. A group of survivors holding up in some sort of structure, trying to fight off the dead, while having to deal with infighting in the group from themselves.
Yeah, it definitely inspired all the other zombie movies that have came after it.
Now, we're not going over all of George Romero's dead movies because, honestly, I just feel like going over the ones that we're going to be going over. So there's that.
I thought he only had like 2.
No, it's more like 6.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
We're only going to be going over the first 4, though.
4? Alright, fine.
And obviously, we're going to be starting with the original.
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead.
Yes, so this was George Romero's first movie. First theatrical movie, that is. He had a short before this, as per IMDb.
Alright.
Now, this movie stars Dwayne Jones as Ben, our leading man here, trying to make it through the apocalypse that had just broken out.
Yeah, he's definitely the most competent of the survival group.
Yes, and for 1960s America at the time, it wasn't too common for a black man to be a leading man in a movie.
Yeah, but here he is being the main character and like I said, the most competent, the most coolest
The most
character.
likable one.
Yeah, of the whole movie.
Judith O'Dea plays Barbara, one of the first characters we meet. She's the character that in the famous quote, "They're coming to get you, Barbara." Obviously.
Yeah, not a fan of Barbara.
Yeah, she kind of sucks. She's really useless and spends most of her time on screen just being a catatonic mess, which, to be fair, she did just see her brother get murdered right before her and then get attacked by a zombie.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't blame her. She's in shock most likely. But still she doesn't help out at all. And that, it kind of gets on my nerves. If I was in that situation, I'd be mad.
Carl Hardman and Marilyn Eastman play Harry and Helen Cooper, a married couple that Ben and Barbara meet while they are also holding up in this house.
Yep.
Harry's kind of the antagonistic human, not quite villain, but antagonist.
Yeah, he pushes against what Ben says. He wants to go hide up in the cellar, and Ben is like, no, we obviously will have more of a fighting chance up here, and they get into the whole thing.
Which, spoiler alert, everyone in this movie ends up dying anyway, so they were both wrong.
Yeah, I guess so.
Keith Wayne and Judith Ridley play Tom and Judy. They're kind of a couple, I guess.
They are.
Yeah, one thing to be said about the side characters in this movie, they're not the most interesting of characters in one of these movies. Now, honestly, most of the characters in these kinds of movies aren't the deepest, so you can't say that this movie's doing anything different from other movies, but still.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. They're definitely not the most interesting, but it's okay.
Yeah, what this movie does well, and what it does pretty great, I say, is it's very simple story. This movie's only about an hour and a half long, so it gives you basically everything that you expect to get out of a movie like this, and a movie that was made so early into the genre.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
There's basically no fat to be trimmed here. Every scene is basically essential for either story development or character development between the characters' dialogues and interactions.
Yeah.
So, what are your overall thoughts about this movie?
Well, I really liked it, especially the first time I saw it. I thought it was really great, especially for being like, the first zombie movie. It was really good. I saw, this one obviously has inspired a lot of movies after it. So yeah, seeing this inspirational movie, it was good. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. I first saw this movie years ago, over 12 years ago at this point, and that was also the last time I saw this movie. I had this weird plan on the phone I had at the time where I was able to watch TV, like cable, and I found this like free movie channel, and this was one of the movies that was available to watch on it.
Nice.
Which, funny thing about that, this movie isn't technically it's technically in the public domain, considering it wasn't properly copywritten.
Oh, I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah, it's a funny story, actually.
Okay, so what's the story?
Well, you see, it happened like this. The director, George Romero, accidentally removed the copyright notice from the credits, which I guess removed the copyright. That's kind of weird.
That does seem weird.
But in doing so, basically anyone can distribute it. That's why you see it on any of those 100+ horror movie collections.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah, just removing the thing from the credits. That seems weird, but okay.
Yeah, well. But, hey. That's okay.
Yeah, because now you're definitely able to watch it.
Yeah, you can find this movie on YouTube for basically free and not have to worry about any sort of copyright bots taking it down.
Yeah.
Also made it pretty easy for Criterion to get it for its collection, which was the version that we saw.
Yep.
Okay. Now, when this movie came out, it had a pretty big fan.
Oh? Who was that?
Well, before George Romero started making his own movies, and when he was living in Pittsburgh, he was working for Mr. Rogers on his show. Now, Fred Rogers saw the movie after it came out, and he really loved it.
Now that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers had some taste, I'd say.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, Ben wasn't originally supposed to be written as a black person. Well, the way I said that sounds weird.
Yeah, repeat what?
Okay, George Romero didn't write Ben to be a black character per se.
Okay.
He basically just wrote a character, and he cast Dwayne Jones because he gave the best addition.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, Ben was also supposed to be a more unrefined blue-collar type character, but Dwayne Jones pretty solid academic background led to this character being a bit more well spoken and calmer of a character.
Yeah, he definitely knew what to do in the stressful situations.
Dwayne Jones also talked producers out of changing the ending to have Ben survive. It was his idea that Ben died.
Yeah, not a fan of that ending, but okay.
Me neither. But he thinks that this ending would be more potent and that black viewers in particular would relate to it better.
Yeah, I definitely see why they went with that ending, but still, I don't enjoy it.
I don't either.
Yeah, it just makes me mad. Just so mad. A lot of endings of movies don't make me as mad as this one did.
Now, Dwayne Jones also thought that it would be more shocking for white audiences and more impactful for black ones. And considering, how people are talking about this ending years later, I think he was right.
Yeah, he definitely was. Yeah, and I believe, audiences definitely took it the way he wanted them to.
I agree. Now, fun fact, this movie was made for $114,000 in 1968 money, which is just a little bit shy of $1 million in today's money. So it kind of shows, but in a good way.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because even though it didn't have a very large budget, it's still...
They use it well.
Yeah, it is used well. It looks good.
Yeah, especially with the black and white cinematography in this movie. When color was available, I feel like this was one of the last black and white movies to really have the amount of gore that this movie did and still reach a wide audience, because the MPAA rating system came into effect the year after this movie came out.
All right.
Now, granted, I don't think there's too much in this movie that a kid wouldn't be able to see, aside from some brief nudity. But aside from that, and admittedly some violent scenes, there's nothing too bad for kids in this.
No, I guess not. As long as they're, more on the mature side, and if, it won't give them nightmares if they see zombies walking around.
In the original script, Barbara was also supposed to survive too.
Okay, yeah.
Tom Savini was also supposed to do the effect work in this movie, but a little thing called the Vietnam War got in the way of that.
Yeah, that would do it.
He was deployed over there working as a combat photographer. Now, Savini would also later go on to direct a remake of Night of the Living Dead in 1990, though.
All right. Pretty cool.
One thing I do like is that they don't necessarily tell us why the dead are coming back to life and eating the living. It's just there's some theories that get floated around in the universe, but we don't get a definitive answer.
Yeah, we don't. We have no idea why they're all coming back alive.
And I feel like even though this movie isn't quite as overt with its social commentary as later Dead movies, like with Dawn of the Dead and its critique of capitalism and consumer culture, and Day of the Dead with its critique of martial law and the like, this one is a bit more subtle with its social commentary, I think.
Yeah, you might be right.
Because we get shown a group of survivors trying to do their best to make it through this situation, but everything ends up going to hell in a handbasket anyways, because these people just can't work together.
Yeah, they really can't. They're not good.
I think it shows that despite our best intentions, sometimes things just fall apart.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
And whether intended or not, I feel like George Romero got that point across pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Overall, this is a very engaging movie, but it can also be seen as pretty slow by modern sentiments, or even when compared to some of the later movies in the Dead franchise.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, really quite enjoy it. It's great.
It's good. I mean, it's a classic for a reason.
Yes, it is. Now, next we're going to get into Romero's follow-up to this movie, Dawn of the Dead. A notoriously hard movie to get a hold of, but one that is well worth it.
Yeah, all right. Let's watch it.
We just got done with Night of the Living Dead. Now let's get into its sort of sequel, 1978's Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, I guess you could say it's a sequel.
Yeah, they're all movies in the same series, I guess. Do they really connect with each other? Well, they all have zombies in them, and yeah, close enough.
Guess you can argue it's the same zombie outbreak.
Maybe. You could argue that. I'm not gonna. Let's just get into the movie. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
So this is once again directed by the master of zombie movies, Mr. George Romero. Wonderful director. Love his work. Just had a talent for zombies and social commentary.
Yeah, he sure did.
This is starring David Emge as Flyboy, the helicopter pilot who gets everyone out of the city and away from the zombies.
Yeah.
Really fun character. He's kind of useless at the start, as is his girlfriend, Francine, played by Galen Ross. But, they get more capable as the movie goes on, so it's okay, I guess.
Yeah, he's really bad aim at the beginning, but yeah, he does become more capable.
Also starring is Ken Foree as Peter and Scott Reidinger as Roger, both SWAT officers. Peter's the cool guy, the most capable one of the bunch, and he's probably my favorite character in this movie.
He is the coolest character. That is true.
We even got to meet his actor Ken Foree at a con last year.
I think it was 2 years ago. Oh no, it was last year. You're right.
Yeah, it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty cool dude. Pretty chill guy, actually. He was kind of surprised to find out that this movie is very hard to find in the U.S. on physical media.
Why is that?
It's a rights issue thing. The company who owns it doesn't want. Well, its asking prices for licensing for physical media is too high for anyone to really bother with. So, whatever copy you can find online or in any used book and movie store, it's going to be decently expensive. Although I consider myself pretty lucky. I found my copy, I think, for around $5 to $10 at a Books A Million.
Nice.
But you can get it imported from Europe for a decent chunk of change. The European Blu-ray is it's region coded to that region 2, I believe. But the nice thing is the 4K disc is region free. So whatever player you have here in the States, if you are in the US, you can play that on there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing whenever I upgrade, because why not?
Yeah, why not?
Anyways, yeah, so Ken Foree, cool dude. Very, very chill guy,
Yeah, very chill.
Also appearing in this movie is Tom Savini, a horror movie legend when it comes to his special effects. He, of course, did the effects work for much of the Friday the 13th series, plus a lot of Romero's Dead series.
Very cool.
He appears as one of the bikers who appears at the end to try to take over the mall from our protagonists. And he's a pretty fun character. Now, this wasn't your first time viewing this movie, I believe.
No, you made me watch it before.
Cool.
Yeah.
You see that like it's a bad thing?
It's not my type of movie that I'd usually be watching.
Okay. So, just going off of the movies we've seen so far, which one do you prefer, this or Night of the Living Dead?
Night of the Living Dead, I think.
Oh, why is that?
I don't know. I guess I think for me, I don't know. The pacing works better for me. Does that sound right?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I just like it better. I don't know.
For me, I feel like this boils down to more interesting characters that we get to spend time with. Because in the original, all we have is our buddy Ben and Barbara, who, I mean, they're fine enough, but the rest of the supporting cast is kind of bland, kind of one note.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. The characters in Night of the Living Dead could, have some improvements. Maybe it's just because I'm loyal to that main character that I don't even remember his name. Do you?
Which one?
The main character in Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I just said his name was Ben.
Oh, I'm tired, man.
Yeah, I like Ben. Don't get me wrong, but Peter as a lead is definitely a lot more engaging, and he's a lot more. Well, he's more fun to watch, I'd say. He's more capable for one, and well, spoiler alert, he doesn't die at the end, so he gets a better ending too.
Yeah, he does get a better ending. We think he might die, but then he comes back. He's not dead.
It's funny that you say that, actually, because an alternate ending actually did have Peter and Francine die.
I guess they decided some people needed to survive.
Yeah, I'd say so, because, geez, the others get turned into zombies and then get their brains blown out to halt their spread. So there's that. But I feel like it's also a testament to these characters that when they do die, you feel really bad about it. It's like, we spent so much time with these people, and now they're just on the chopping block. That really sucks.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I also felt like that at the end of Night of the Living Dead when Ben got shot. Just at the end, for no reason. Someone thinks he's a zombie, so they just take care of him like that. It's really disappointing. But like, in a way that feels right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do agree with you. Even though it's disappointing and it's aggravating, it does make the movie.
Yeah, but I feel like a different ending was necessary for this movie, given that I feel like Peter and Francine were given more characterization. They were given more agency, as it were, to say. And the fact that they both go through a pretty decent character arc, both of them, primarily them. We don't get too much in terms of that from Roger. He stays pretty much the same throughout his screen time. But, well, I feel like there's something of a character arc that all four of our main characters go through, with some hint of a dehumanization when it comes to dealing with the zombies.
Yeah, I guess since these characters were more developed, it would make sense that, some of them do need to survive.
Yeah. Peter, for instance, when we see him, he's taking care of this racist SWAT officer who just wants to kill all the Puerto Rican and black people in this apartment complex for some reason. It's not really elaborated on. He's just a racist asshole.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. He's just a bad dude.
But it's okay. our buddy Peter takes care of him, and then when he has to execute some zombies, we see him crying about it because this is anything that he's been trained to do. And to him, even though they're zombies and they might as well have just tried to kill him, it still sucks to have to actually put them down.
Yeah, he could still see that, these used to be people. They still technically are people, I guess, but yeah, he's just, he really has a hard time with it.
And later on, when they stop to get gas for the helicopter, he has to put down some zombie kids too, and you can see that it really does affect him.
Yeah, it would be hard to shoot children, even if they are zombie children.
Which, I guess, if something like this did happen, you would have to kill the kids.
Yeah, because this movie shows that, even kids are affected by this zombie disease going around.
Yeah, no one is really safe from this movie. And I like that the violence that we do see in this movie. I feel like back in the 70s, this stuff was a lot more, was a lot more shocking than it is now. Because nowadays, you see stuff like the It movies or the endless parade of slasher movies we've gotten over the decades. And stuff like what we see in Dawn of the Dead isn't too shocking by any means.
No, yeah. Back in the day, I'm sure this was crazy. But now we've become so... what's the word? Exposed?
Desensitized?
Desensitized, exposed to all these things that it's like, it doesn't really make us flinch anymore.
Having said that, though, some of the violence in this movie does look pretty... It gave me some... made me cringe a bit, but like in a good way.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty in a good way.
Especially when the one of the zombies just straight up bites his wife on the neck, and you could see how easy it is for him to just rip through her skin. It's just that makes me uncomfortable, but in a good way, like I said.
Yeah, that part really sticks out in my mind because of the makeup there, and also like when they're ripping the guts out of the biker gang, all their intestines are coming out. Nasty.
Well, that's because they use actual cow intestines for this.
That's gross. Well, I mean, yeah, it's realistic.
Makes it more realistic, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really gross part.
Yeah, it's great though. You gotta have some grossness in a zombie movie. Someone's got to get ripped apart and eaten alive by zombies. It sucks for the characters involved, but it's good to see.
Yeah, it's good for us.
Not so much them.
No, not for them.
Now, the idea of hiding out in a shopping mall from the zombie apocalypse was, well, honestly, this movie makes it a lot more appealing than it might appear otherwise. Yeah,
it seems like a mall's a good place, especially this mall.
Yeah, they got a hardware store, some restaurants, several places to get food, an arcade, an ice rink, a bank even to get money, even though they really don't need it.
Yeah, most importantly, they have that the gun and ammo store.
That's right, they have the hunting store.
Yeah, so that really comes in handy.
It was a different time. It was the 70s.
Yeah, like I have not seen any of these types of stores in malls.
The only time I see guns in stores is when I see people carrying.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So definitely a mall like this would definitely be an ideal place to hide out, because also they're able to barricade themselves pretty well indoors with trucks. They're able to park them close by to the entrances, to the point where the zombies are able to get to the door, but they can't really break their way in because they don't have the leverage necessary to actually break through the windows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they barricade themselves in pretty well.
Yeah, and these are pretty smart characters too. So you love it when you see actually intelligent characters in a horror movie, try to survive, because when they're smart, you feel like, okay, these people deserve to live, and then it sucks when they don't.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, you were so close, you were doing so good, and oh, you got bit by a zombie.
Shame.
Shame, yeah.
And then the biker gang coming in to loot makes sense too, because, well, why wouldn't they? You have this band of roaming bandits coming in. They see that you're holed up in this mall, so why wouldn't they try to steal what you got?
Yeah, they come in and mess everything up.
And I feel like, we get some intelligent bikers too, because at one point they're going through this department store. One of them stealing a TV, and another guy says, "What are you gonna watch on that?" And he's like, "Oh yeah," and then he just throws it down and breaks another TV too. It's like, well, if they can't use it, might as well break it.
Yeah. Yeah, they just come through, destroy some stuff. They definitely get in over their heads, though. I think they thought it was going to be much easier than what it was.
Yeah. But as we saw from our protagonists when they got to the mall, it wasn't too easy to actually survive at first, because, well, they underestimated it too.
Yeah, there's lots of zombies coming to the mall.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, do you
She
have
has something to say.
Do you have something to add to this, Clemmy?
No.
Not so talkative now, are you?
She just yelled that one time, I guess. I don't know.
Anyways, but the reason why all these zombies are at the mall in the first place is because, well, in life, this is a place they were drawn to. This is George Romero's critique on capitalism and consumer culture, that even when we're dead, we're still going to want to go to this place that we remember spending all our money at.
Yeah. You could say the zombies, excuse me, are just like regular people walking through the mall with dead eyes and, you know what I'm saying.
Dead eyes and empty brains.
Yeah.
If only you could see us now, Romero.
We still have dead eyes and empty brains.
Well, to be honest, he didn't die too long ago, so he did.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, now she's saying something. What do you have to say?
do you have something to add on George Romero's critique on consumerism?
It's a hard question.
It's okay. You're only 3 months. I wouldn't expect you to have a very in-depth answer.
No. She'll get there. Maybe by 4 months.
Maybe.
Yeah. Ask her again later.
Okay, so like I said, one of the original endings involved Peter shooting himself and Fran committing suicide by shoving her head in the spinning blades of the helicopter. And at the end of the credits, the helicopter's motor would have gave out, showcasing that they didn't really have much fuel in the helicopter to begin with.
Yeah, so they wouldn't have made it very far anyways.
But George Romero changed it while filming because he liked the characters too much and he didn't want to give them that fate, and he felt that the tone of the movie wouldn't support it.
Yeah.
So it got changed to them making it out of there with a unknown fate, but still, you have some hope.
Yeah, all we know is there's not too much fuel in the helicopter. I think someone says, there's not a lot of fuel or whatever. And then they take off into the distance.
Yep, that's what Fran said. They didn't have too much.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, it's unknown if wherever they go or what happens next.
Okay. Okay, so supposedly David Emge said that the reason why he got the role was because he already got the jacket for the character.
Nice.
It is a nice jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So Tom Savini's niece and nephew played the two zombie kids that we saw.
Oh, cool.
George Romero wrote and directed this movie, of course, and then he also wrote its novelization.
Oh, very nice.
It's kind of funny that that the biker rightly points out that they wouldn't have anything to watch on the TV, so why bring them? But like VHS tapes had been a thing for a few years at that point, so if they could have.
I guess maybe they didn't have any VHS tapes.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if they're living on the road, yeah, you can't really carry around a TV like that.
Which at the time there was a format war going on between VHS and Betamax, and you want to know why VHS went over Betamax?
Why?
Well, officially speaking, it's because of the lower production costs and longer recording times and convenience. Those are the advantages that VHS had over Betamax.
Okay.
But some say it was because there was more porn on VHS than Betamax.
Oh. I don't even know what Betamax is.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
I believe both of these reasons, though.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But, I mean, well, I guess now you wouldn't really want to be looking around a TV anyways if there was a zombie apocalypse.
No, I'd say that would be the last of my worries.
So, during the making of a movie, a pregnant extra suggested her character be shown having her baby ripped out by the zombies.
Oh my, that's dark.
That's dark, but it's kind of funny that the pregnant woman suggested that.
Yeah, that is funny.
Oh God. I mean, on the one hand, that would have been really, really disturbing to see, and I feel like even if they did shoot that and put it in the movie, they would have, the studio execs would have begged them to take it out. But on the other hand, that's just that is a concept.
Yeah, I think that would have definitely got them into trouble. Or, yeah, they would have to edit that, definitely.
Yeah, Romero and Savini, they vetoed that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Which I don't blame them, but I also do at the same time, because it's like, guys, come on.
Yeah, all right.
Now, unless you have anything more to say on Dawn of the Dead, we can wrap this portion up.
I think I liked it more this time watching it than last time. Did we watch it together my first time I saw this?
I think I had you watch it while I was overseas.
That's why I didn't like it. Because you were forcing me to watch stuff and you weren't even there. So I think, I watched this one really reluctantly. So I think that tarnished my view on it. But yeah, this time watching it again, it was better.
Good.
Because I remember just hating it. They were in the mall doing nothing, and I was just like, oh my gosh, he's making me watch this movie. I just had a bad attitude. Maybe that was when I was on steroids that summer. That was a bad summer.
Yeah, maybe. You're just being mean to everyone.
Yeah. I had allergies, so I had a reason to be on steroids.
Yeah, you weren't just juicing so that you can hit baseballs farther.
Yeah.
Like some MLB players.
I just was extra sensitive to pollen that year.
Honestly, that's not a knock against those MLB players either. I don't care if they use steroids. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. But anyways, yeah. If you're a fan of zombie movies, you gotta give this one a shot.
Yeah, this is one of the most iconic zombie movies out there, and it, along with Night of the Living Dead, helped pioneer the modern zombie genre that we know today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Without it, we probably wouldn't have stuff like The Walking Dead, Shaun of the Dead, 28 Days Later, or really any other zombie media that people like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a good... It inspired a lot.
Yes, it did. Now, Criterion, put this one in your collection too, please.
I guess we'll see.
Probably not going to happen, but one can dream.
Mm-hmm. We can.
Would make getting a copy of it a lot easier.
Yeah, That would be true.
So next we have Day of the Dead, Romero's 1985 follow-up to this movie. That was kind of unfairly maligned upon release, but has received a new look in more modern days.
All right. Let's watch it.
Let's do it. In 1985, George Romero released his third zombie movie, Day of the Dead. This was your first viewing of the movie. This was the first time I'd seen it, probably since the Obama presidency. So, what did you think?
I mean, this type of movie isn't one that I would usually watch, by myself, that I would, just pick out to watch. So, that's gonna, affect my opinion on it. Yeah,
Know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean, it's, if I gotta stop saying that, my goodness. If you are expecting a zombie movie, this is
one of them.
This is one of them. Yeah. It's very violent.
Real neato observations there, champ.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't think. But yeah, this is a good, interesting take on the zombie movie genre.
Yeah, I agree. This movie is a bit different from our first two, Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. In this one, we see well, from my understanding, this movie is concentrating more on the dehumanization of people as the zombie apocalypse goes on, and leads to the possible reintegration of some zombies into human society.
Yeah, we have some scientists trying to work with the zombies to see if they can, find like a cure, if they can come back from their zombie state.
Yeah, and then we have the military they just want to kill them all. From my understanding, just from conjecture and all that, they seem to be more hell-bent on just straight up wiping them all out, killing them, or, well, re-killing them, because they've probably seen enough of... they've seen what zombies can do, and they're probably not too interested in their possible reintroduction or their possibly curing, because this is all they see, so what's the point?
Yeah, I can't really blame them, though, because these are zombies, So they got a point.
But also at a certain point, these army guys, they're really... It seems like they've lost much of their humanity. Most of it, anyways. We have a few of them. A few of them who still have some sort of light in them. Whenever they see some of their comrades get killed, or when one of them is told to shoot our main character, he's hesitant about it because, well, he may be kind of a goofball, kind of an asshole, but he's not an evil guy, I'd say. He's just following the evil guy. And even still, the evil guy, honestly, he has a few moments where he's not so bad after all either.
Yeah, he does have his moments of being bad, though, like abandoning his comrades at the end.
Yeah. Well, this movie stars Laurie Cardile as Dr. Sarah Bowman. She's our main protagonist. It's not like with the last two movies where we meet a woman character in the beginning, and then she sort of takes a sideline to a man. This one, she is pretty much the lead for the whole movie.
Yeah, that is true. She is the lead.
And honestly, of the three protagonists we've had so far, I definitely like the one from Dawn of the Dead more. Peter, that's his name.
Yeah, I guess he's the protagonist.
Yeah. Ben was all right. I didn't want to see him die, but and Sarah here is she's pretty fun. Well, not fun. She's an interesting, intelligent, and likable character that you don't want to see anything bad happen to her. And, well, spoiler alert, I guess. When she finally makes it at the end, you're happy.
Yeah, you're happy she escaped along with, the others.
Her friend John, played by Terry Alexander, a helicopter pilot who, funnily enough, they call Flyboy here because he's the guy who flies.
That makes sense, yes.
Joe Pilato plays Captain Rhodes, the main bad guy of this movie. Well, the bad guy of this movie. And it's kind of introducing something these movies hadn't had before. Well, a human bad guy.
Yeah, that's true. The other movies, the bad guy has just been the zombies.
The zombies or just other humans, which doesn't really count, I'd say.
No, I wouldn't count that.
Usually in these sorts of movies, the zombies themselves are, the main enemy force or main enemy. But here, and in some other movies, we get an actual human antagonist, which I think helps out a lot because you can't really connect too well with the zombies outside of the threat that they pose, which they do pose a pretty big threat. These do too, especially. But with the bad guy, like with Rhodes, you get a more personal bad guy. You get a more personal. Duh, Tyler. But you get someone that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's a bit more intimidating because the zombies, how zombies are going to act. They're going to chase you and eat your brains. But this guy, he's a little devious. You don't know how he's going to act.
And honestly, some of my biggest criticisms I have with this movie do lie with Rhodes. Now, he's an entertaining character. He's such an asshole. I love him. But I also feel like he goes a bit too far, like a bit too over top with this. I feel like his character could be better served by maybe playing along at times with the scientists, like making them think that, that he's on their side, sort of playing them and the other soldiers against each other so that he can be the one on top. I feel like that could have been a more interesting way to go about with this character.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think you're right, because this guy, he does just kind of...
he just antagonizes the scientists.
Yeah, like all the time. And, I think if he would have maybe pitted everybody against each other, that would have made him a more... intimidating villain, maybe.
More interesting one.
Yeah, that too.
As is, he's fine, and he gets the classic zombies swarming and pulling him apart death that you'd see in a lot of zombie movies, and it's great.
Yeah, very violent.
Yeah. Now they actually used actual animal guts for his death scene, but a problem came about when they were storing the stuff. The fridge that they were keeping the guts in got turned off or unplugged or whatever, so the guts went bad.
That's nasty.
Yeah. So the actual agony that the character is going through, and the discomfort that the actor is going through, kind of helps with the performance.
Because they must have been stinky.
We also have Sherman Howard playing Bub, a zombie who, our main scientist, Dr. Frankenstein, as it were, he's the one who Frankenstein is really... He's the one he's had the most success with turning him back to human.
Yeah, we see that this zombie, Bub, can... remember how to use a phone. He can remember what a book is, how to shave. Yeah.
When he sees random people come into the same room as him, he doesn't really react to them, which means he doesn't really see them as food, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
And by the end of the movie, he knows how to use a gun.
Yeah. He's a smart zombie.
Yeah, he might be my favorite zombie character in zombie movies. Just a really intelligent and a really interesting zombie character.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't really know a lot of zombie characters. It's usually just the zombies as a whole. There's not usually an individual character, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not usually, but we get one with Day of the Dead.
Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of zombies and gore, the gore effects in this movie are just top notch. Okay, Tom Savini really outdid himself this time.
Yeah, they're very nasty, which is a compliment.
Yeah, at certain points we see zombies with all sorts of guts and entrails just pouring out. And at another point, we in the beginning we see the zombie with one of his jaws ripped off and his tongue just hanging out down his neck, and he's looking so gross and disgusting. It's all I love it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Okay, so George Romero has cited this as his best movie and his favorite in the Dead series.
Oh, okay.
And Tom Savini considers this movie to be his greatest work.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can too. Man did great.
Yep. Did very good, making everything very nasty.
So, George Romero was also very committed to making this movie the exact way he wanted it, without any sorts of cuts in regards to violence or gore or anything like that, as he should. The man was an artist. So, he had to let the budget be cut in half to $3.5 million as opposed to $7 million in order to make the movie at all.
Okay, yeah. Gotta sacrifice, I guess.
Which, they did this on a $3.5 million budget. Not bad. Though, to be fair, a lot of the movie is taking place underground, which, honestly, I feel like that's not such a bad idea to hole up in during a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, you'd think that'd be pretty safe. Did they say how the zombies got down there, or
Down where?
in the cave?
Yeah, the Sarah's boyfriend brought them down in the elevator.
No, like before that. They were just there?
I guess so.
Okay, I didn't know. So how'd they get down there?
They walked.
Okay, fair enough, I guess.
Maybe there's another opening somewhere to that cave that these zombies were just at there before.
All right, sure.
I don't know. It's not too important.
All right. I just don't know the answer.
Okay. So the production company cut the budget in half in response to George Romero's decision to forego an MPAA rating, which makes sense. This movie is literally not rated.
I could tell.
Most of it was shot in an abandoned mine shaft in Pennsylvania, which the high humidity in the movie caused a lot of mechanical and electrical failures and messed with Tom Savini's gore effects.
Yeah, that's not good.
George Romero's original script would have been something of a mix between this movie and his zombie movie that came after this, Land of the Dead.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Tony Todd auditioned for the role of John. You may know him best as Candyman.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that movie, but I am familiar with it.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also in the remake of Night of the Living Dead as Ben.
Okay.
I can imagine he wasn't going to be Barbara.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
And that would have been interesting, I think. Tony Todd's a very underrated character actor, and I feel like he doesn't get enough attention for his projects.
Yeah, I guess not.
But that was Day of the Dead. Do you have anything more to say on this?
No, not really. I mean, it's a thrill ride of zombie gore.
Yes, it is.
So if you're into that, this would be a movie to see.
Yes, it would. Now, In regards to the rankings of these movies so far, how would you put them?
Um, I still think the original, the OG, is at the top, but I do think I liked this one better than Dawn of the Dead.
See, I got the exact opposite. I think Dawn of the Dead was best, but I like this more than the original.
All right. We have very different opinions on zombie movies.
Although this is both our number 2.
Oh. Look at that.
It's kind of funny.
I guess so.
Next, we have Land of the Dead, George Romero's 2005 zombie movie that people pretty much unanimously don't like as much as these first 3. But from my understanding, people like it fine enough.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. We're not going to be getting into Tom Savini's remake of Night of the Living Dead or Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn of the Dead until we get into Zack Snyder's movies. We'll just take care of that when it comes to that. And honestly, we might not even get to Zack Snyder's movies this year. We might hold off on that until some other time. Man, I don't know.
Yes, please.
That's not nice.
Well, I want to watch my Halloween movies and my Christmas movies.
We got November.
I have lots of Christmas movies.
You're a poop head.
All right. It's fair.
Love you.
I love you too.
So, let's get into Land of the Dead. I almost forgot what the movie is called.
All right, let's watch it.
Land of the Dead. George Romero's return to zombie movies after 20 years. And, to be honest, this is my first time watching it, as was yours.
Yes, it was.
So let's get our general thoughts about this. What did you think?
I definitely didn't think it was as good as his others.
I agree. What about you, sweetie? Good point.
Doesn't seem like she liked it too much.
Probably not. But that's okay. Overall, though, I enjoyed it. Like you said, this wasn't as good as the first 3, but it's good in its own right. That's probably not high praise, but
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I don't really have the desire to ever watch it again, but that's just me.
Simon Baker plays Riley Denbo, a sort of a scavenger who goes out and gets stuff for this town of people hiding away from the zombies. He is also joined by John Leguizamo playing Cholo, a guy who's selling stuff on the side and is trying to get a place for himself where all the rich people live. In Fiddler's Green, it's this high-rise skyscraper where all the rich people live, like I said. And he's trying to bribe the head guy there, Kaufman, played by Dennis Hopper, who's our human bad guy for the movie. And she doesn't really get too much time to shine like Captain Rhodes did in Day of the Dead.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't get too much time.
But his character is what I was asking for when it comes to Captain Rhodes. He's far more willing to play along with our heroes. He's more willing to appear reasonable.
Yeah.
He's probably more evil than Rhodes, but still, it fits the character type.
Yeah, it sure does.
Asia Argento plays Slack, a woman who we meet who gets thrown in with a couple more zombies to fight them while trying to escape, or they're trying to fight each other to get to her. It's a little unclear.
For entertainment.
Yeah, we see in this society that they built, they're using zombies and commodifying them to use them for entertainment. Because what else are you going to use them for?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Robert Joy plays Charlie, Riley's best friend, and I'm really surprised that this guy survived the whole movie. You know, he's got half his face like burnt up or something, and he's just sort of the guy that Riley keeps around, just his sort of tag along sidekick, you know.
Yeah, he's a really good. He shoots good. He's a good shooter. That's why he's kept around.
And we have Eugene Clark playing Big Daddy, a zombie who is kind of the sequel to Bub from Day of the Dead. He's an intelligent zombie who starts to lead a posse of his own into the city to find a better place to live. And it's really interesting to see this guy's character arc.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart zombie. He figures things out easily, and he leads all his fellow zombies to where all the people are.
Yeah, for instance, when we first meet him, he figures out that the people in the bus use fireworks to distract the zombies while they can loot the town, and he's trying to get them to stop doing that. And he eventually leads them to Fiddler's Green, where they can all rampage and eat people to their heart's desire.
Yep, and the fireworks don't work anymore.
No, they don't. He learns how to use a gun, use construction equipment. He teaches another zombie to use the meat cleaver that he's been carrying around to use as a thing to break apart barriers. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's, I guess, they don't really explain it, but I guess he's just more evolved, or maybe, I don't know. She seems to think. I don't know.
Yes, I do think he was supposed to be a continuation of Bub from Day of the Dead, sweetie.
Yeah, probably right.
We also get a few cameos. We get.
Oh, goodness.
I'm getting to it, sweetie. She wanted me to say that Tom Savini appears as more or less his character from Dawn of the Dead, which is interesting. It makes it the only recurring character from any of the Romero Dead films.
Yeah, that's kind of funny that they took this character from 2 movies ago. But hey, it's fun.
2 movies in almost 30 years prior.
Yeah, long time.
We also get cameos from Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright as zombies, since George Romero really liked Shaun of the Dead. He asked them to be in his movie.
Yeah, who doesn't like Shaun of the Dead?
I don't know. Just idiots.
Yeah.
Goobers. But yeah, there was a couple references that Pegg and Wright slipped into Shaun of the Dead that Romero didn't catch. Like when Ed said that, "We're coming to get you, Barbara."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, apparently it flew right over his head.
It took me a while before I realized it too.
So, Land of the Dead is a this time the social commentary going around is concerning class. Cholo's trying to rise up from his station to join the rich people, but the rich people don't want him there with him because he's not one of them.
Yeah, they're very, very rude and very selective of who gets to join them. And yeah, it's only rich people.
Maybe a little racist too, considering Dennis Hopper's character calls him a slur later on. But,
yeah, probably racist.
You know, this Hispanic fellow is good enough to take out Kaufman's trash and take care of his dirty work, but he's not good enough to be his neighbor. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, crazy.
Just a racist bad guy.
Yep.
Honestly, I have the least to say about this one out of the 4 Dead movies overall. It's a perfectly fine movie. I like it. And the social commentary is there, of course. But, you know, it's your typical class is stuff.
Yeah, there's, all the rich people live in the big tower, all the other people live outside in the cold. Um, so, yeah, the commentary is there.
Yeah, especially for mid 2000s Bush era America.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so remember the soldier near the beginning who shoots the zombie who gets himself stuck on the electric fence?
Yeah, sure.
That one was actually played by George Romero's daughter.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
Um, Romero originally wanted to include more explicit references to the previous Dead movies, and he wanted to use stock footage from Dawn and Day of the Dead in the opening credits. Though this was slashed due to at the time and still ongoing rights complications involving those movies, which is why Tom Savini's character is credited as Machete Zombie instead of Blade, his character from Dawn.
Yeah.
But it's clearly him. He's wearing the same stuff. He's got the same look. He's got the same machete and all that. It's clearly him.
Yeah, same outfit. It looks like him. Yeah, it's him.
In the original script, Pillsbury was a female, while Motown was an Asian man named Tea House. But I guess they changed it around.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which makes me happy. I like Pillsbury. He was a pretty fun dude.
Yeah, pretty fun.
Yeah, this is a pretty alright movie. It's perfectly fine. I don't really have a whole lot of problems with it. Some of the characters can be a bit bland, a bit dry, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. The characters are fine, a little bland. But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I feel like this movie probably wouldn't have done as well, or wouldn't have been as remembered if it wasn't a George Romero zombie movie.
Yeah, you're probably right. If it was just a regular run-of-the-mill zombie movie, yeah, I think I could see it being easily forgotten.
But it is a George Romero zombie movie, which means it's a pretty good zombie movie.
Yeah, it's all right.
So, how would you rank these now that we're at the end of this? We're not going into the other Romero's Dead movies because we just don't have the time and we don't have them.
Yeah, so this one, Land of the Dead, is definitely going to be on bottom. And I know I just ranked them. Like yesterday, we just ranked them, didn't we?
Yeah,
what did I say? Do you remember?
Well, you said Night of the Living Dead was your favorite.
Yes. So Land of the Dead on bottom, Night of the Living Dead on top. Yeah, you know what? I think this is different than what I said yesterday, but I'm taking it back. They're all pretty close anyways in the middle, but I think... So, Land of the Dead, bottom. Day of the Dead, next. Dawn of the Dead after that. And then, yeah, on top, Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I think when we did... after we recorded for Day of the Dead, you said... Day of the Dead was your second favorite, and then Dawn of the Dead was at number 3. But I guess...
Yeah, I can change my mind, okay?
Okay.
I can do that. I know I am allowed.
Okay, let's say you weren't.
Yeah, I'm allowed to change my mind, and I did.
All right. Land of the Dead is definitely at the bottom for me as well. Then Night of the Living Dead. I respect it more than I love it, and I do like it a lot. I just think the other two are better. Then Day of the Dead, and then Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. Ours are a little different.
Yeah, that's okay though.
Yeah, it's okay.
So that concludes this look at some of George Romero's Dead movies. Yeah, the man did great work with his craft, and he revolutionized. I can't speak either. He revolutionized the zombie subgenre and basically created it as we know today.
Yeah, he sure did.
Without George Romero, no Walking Dead, no Call of Duty Zombies, no Shaun of the Dead, no, well, a lot of the zombie media we like today.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, that's all for now. Unless you have anything more to say?
I guess not.
Guess not. So, we'll see you next time.
Yep, see you next time. You're getting fussy.